Okay, so 3D Experience Project Management, just an intro here real quick before we get into more of a hands-on video. So just some of the features of the platform and the application. Project management allows you to have project analytics. And again, all this stuff that we talk about here, you will see once we pull up the video here. So you'll have project analytics. For project management, you're able to create budgets for each project and track against those budgets. It's all real time. You are able to manage resources for each project and their time worked on the project. So resources meaning employees or contractors or people that are assigned to the project. Okay. You can schedule meetings from within the application itself. You can interact with all members of the platform using discussions. So there is an object in the system within the project management application called discussions, and you can create different discussions to talk amongst each other that are in the project to see any kind of notes and things that are going on with each project, any nuances that are going on, anything that's maybe not covered in a meeting or something like that. You can track all the decisions that are made during each phase of the project. So if in a meeting, there's a decision that's made, you can track that. Okay, so you can keep track of those decisions and see them all in one area on what kind of decisions were made for the project overall. You can create issues that come up during the project's life cycle. You can also create opportunities, risks, you can create benefits, you can create a workspace within the project. And a workspace really is just a collection of documents or items. So if the project is going to use a certain set of items, you can put that all into a workspace. If it's going to, use a certain set of documents, that can all go in the workspace, so you can access everything in one area. You don't have to search for each object individually, pull it up one by one. You can throw it all into one workspace. It's in the project and it's there for you to see immediately. Some of this is just going to be very high level. So analytics, I mentioned analytics. So this is kind of what analytics looks like at a very high level. So when you get into a project and you get into the main project summary page, this is what it will look like depending on the status. Okay, so you'll have your project status, your top level task, your all tasks for the project, and then the status for each one of those tasks. If there's any task with deliverables, any critical tasks, and then a Gantt chart. Okay, of where you are in the project, what's been completed, what hasn't been completed, when things are due. So that's all in your project summary page. And again, I will show you all that shortly. Next are just some of the things that are included in here. So project risks. They're really created to identify problems. So you can create a risk before a project begins. Or you can create it as the project progresses, or you can create them at the end. It really doesn't matter. There's sometimes you go into a project and you understand some of the risks that are going to be involved in the project. You can start those right off the bat before the project even begins. And some arise, as you go through the project. Maybe you went over budget on something, or maybe the resource wasn't available, or maybe a certain part wasn't available, whatever it may be. Resource plan and pools. So this really has to do with resource management, with keeping track of people's time in the project. So each resource request would detail out what skills are needed and what resource pools would be needed. And I'll explain resource pools in a little bit. The request could also detail the standard cost per hour for the resource. And again, the resource is an employee or a contractor. And the number of full-time employees that would be needed to fulfill the request. Again, I'll get into this in a little bit. I'm going to leave it at this. This is just kind of an image of what it'll look like. Budgets, I kind of mentioned in the beginning, this is kind of how budgets will look like, the view. Budgets really keep track of the costs and the benefits for a project. So you can add a budget here. You can see on that screen, there's a tab for benefits on the top. You can also click on that benefits tab, and then you can add all the benefits to the project. And again, I'll detail that out in the presentation. Again, benefits, I just talked about that in the previous slide, so that it's kind of just showing you how benefits, again, you can show them by quarter, by month, by year, whatever fashion you'd like, and you can edit each month or each week with the benefit amount for that week. Okay, so let me get into the video here for everyone. So this will kind of go fast and I'll kind of explain it as we go along here. So before I really get this thing started, when you first log into the 3D Experience platform, this is your dashboard, okay? So everyone's gonna have a different dashboard. This is what mine looks like. So I'll play the video and I'll kind of talk through it. I might pause here and there. And again, we'll kind of go through questions at the end. So here in the beginning, I'm going to click on the compass in the upper left corner and then the project management application. That takes me to the main page for the project management application. You can see here on the main page, and I'll pause it here for a second. So on the main page, this is going to list all the projects that you have access to, anything that's you're assigned to, you own, or you're subscribed to. Okay, so that's going to be all listed here in this screen. So you can access any of those projects right from here. Before we kind of go on in the video as well, there is something called programs. You can see here on the left side, there is a programs icon or a tab. And programs really are overarching, right? So you can kind of think of it as, you know, maybe a program could be, a house, right? And the projects are parts of your house, right? So they could be the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen, whatever it may be, right? So you create a program that's, all encompassing. And then within that program, you create as many projects as you need or want, okay? And so I'm going to kind of show you how that works here. So right now in this little we call it a hamburger icon. That's where you can create projects. So I'm going to go into the programs tab, click on that little star icon, name the name of your program right here. The policy is always going to be defaulted to a program. That's what we're going to always leave it at. Same with the type. So right here, I'm just creating a sample program. You can put in the description. Anything in red has to be entered in. Okay. So after this, I think click the OK button here, and then you'll see on the bottom here, it's going to say sample program right there. Shows sample program was created. So in order to see that program and to add projects to that program, we would click on sample program. So I'm going to go in, click on sample program, and here's kind of a dashboard view. Okay. Just like I showed you for projects, this is the same thing for programs. You see your analytics there on the right side. This is a brand new program, so you're not going to see analytics right now. That is where you will see them. So right now I'm going to go into the meetings tab here, okay, just to show you you can enter in meetings here. But let's go in and create a project, okay? So I'm going to go into the project section. This is where you can enter in your projects. You click on the little hamburger icon, create project, create new. And then you enter in all your details here on the right side. The name of the project date, those are mandatory fields. Everything else is optional. So let's see here. So I think description, I'll put something in. Calendar right here, you guys, I'm going to pause it here. So there's an option for calendar. That's if you have your own internal calendar. Okay, so if your workplace has their own calendar, maybe some fiscal calendar, right? That's different than your standard calendar. You can enter that calendar into your main system, into the main 3D Experience configuration section, and then that calendar is selectable here. Okay, so the whole project is based off of your internal calendar, not standard date calendar. So in this, I'm not going to leave it. I don't have a specific calendar. A business unit is basically an organization. So if you have a specific business unit that the project is going to be coming from, you can select that here. So I'm going to select sample. If there is a business goal that's been entered into the system, you can find it right here. I didn't enter anything in. So I'm just going to click OK, and it's going to create this project. And here is that project dashboard we were talking about. So this is brand new, right? All your metrics are there. You can see, again, this is brand new, so you're not going to really see much of anything at this point. But on the left side, you can create your schedule, Collaboration is who's going to be in there and what you're going to do with it. Details are the details of the project. But let's go into the schedule first and create one, right? So we've got this project and I'm going to pause it for a second. So we got this project and we want to be able to create several different tasks for this project, right? So this project isn't, it's going to involve a lot. So we're going to have a beginning, middle, and end somehow, right? So we're going to go in and select the icon, the check mark icon for the project, and then the little star in the upper left corner, okay? And that will then create this task. And you can see under the word type, task is selected. So these are all tasks that need to be performed within the project. You have a start date, you have an end date that you select. The duration is how many days this task will be. Again, is the task mandatory or not? Yes, I am going to make it mandatory. Who's it assigned to? So who's going to take care of this task? I'm going to assign it to myself, and I'm not going to say there needs to be an approval. So bam, that one's going to get created. It's going to go under. Okay, so now we have a task. I'm going to go in and create a few more just to kind of fill up the project so you can see how it looks in a Gantt chart form and really how this thing works. Okay, so I'm going to create another task here, and this is really probably the design. Yes, the design of the model. Put in a description. It's going to be a sub-level. I'm going to leave it at that. And this duration, we're not going to make just one day. We're going to say that this design task is going to be 10 days. Okay, so I'm going to go in. Start date is going to be May 13th, and I'm going to choose the 26th, I believe. Yes, the 26th as my end date. Okay. Again, task requirement, it's mandatory. The assignee, I'm going to assign myself. And again, this will all be, depending on what you have in your system. This one, I'm not going to have an approval as well. I'm just going to say, okay, move on. Right. I'm going to create some more here. I'm going to pause it real quick because I cut those out of here. So you can see I created manufacture the model, ship to the customer, and close out the project. Okay, so each task is showing here with its own ID. There's no deliverables. I didn't select any deliverables for anything just to make it simplistic. The life cycle state that project task is in is listed here. They're all in a draft state, so that's your initial state. Nothing has been completed yet. It shows you how long the duration is of that specific task. And then overall at the top, it's a 40-day project. Okay, starts on May 12th, ends on July 6th. Simple as that. So let's continue this. You can see if I want to go, so you can see all these things are listed here. Right now, the first task is going to be the project kickoff. Okay, so we need to get that thing going. So let's go into the Gantt chart view. Just so I wanted to show you how that looks. So here's how the project looks. Okay, haven't started it. Everything's been in the system. It's all in a draft state. It's all outlined. It's ready to go. And that's how it's going to look for you. Okay. I'm not going to go into milestones or phase gates. There's just too much here. So we'll go back to the structured view, back to this view, and I'm going to click on collaboration here on the left side. Okay. So this is where, before this project begins, I'm going to start scheduling several meetings. Okay. I need to have a kickoff meeting for this project. Okay. So in order for the project to start, I need a kickoff meeting. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a meeting. Same format as how you create a project, nothing different. You can enter in your meeting location if you want, description, all that can be entered in. You're going to select your date. You're going to select what time it's going to start the meeting, the duration, and then you're going to say, okay. Okay, you can put in a conference call number. You can put in a web address if it's like a GoToMeeting or something like that. You can enter in as much data as you want here, okay? It's just whatever is in red is what's required. So I'm going to go in and just create some more meetings, but as that's going on, you can watch that, but also talk to it. So as these meetings get created, right, we have the ability to add people to that meeting, okay? And each person can be assigned a task for that meeting. When a meeting is created and it's ready, okay, it's not ready to start, but it's ready, okay, all the details of it have been taken care of, you can then send a notification to all people that are going to be in that meeting, straight from the meeting tab. So you can click on a button, it'll send a notification via email to, if you have that set up, the email notifications, it'll send it to you in an email saying, hey, there's a meeting that's been created that you're involved in. You can click on that link. It'll take you straight to that meeting. Okay, and you'll see all the details of the meeting on when it starts, what the dial-in info is, and everything about it. Okay, so that's a pretty cool feature to have. So you can see I've got different meetings here: an approval, kickoff, reviewing. I'm going to also create a discussion here. Okay, remember I told you everybody can see this. So I'm just going to create a discussion for communication. And it's really just going to say, hey, for every time we have a meeting, please make sure you attach the agenda items and notes, okay, to the meeting itself. Because we want this to be documented. We want to see what's going on in these meetings. Are there any discussions or side items that are coming up that we need to know about? And we need to track that somewhere. So I'm just going to create a discussion thread so people can see that when they go in, okay, that there is some form of documentation that we need. So now I'll go into the execution tab, okay? And again, this tool has a lot to offer, okay? There is an enormous amount that you can do in here. I'm showing you a very, very quick a snippet of just what it has. So there's assessments. So when a project is about to begin, you can create an assessment. Okay, so and you can call it kind of like first assessment or initial assessment. So when the project begins, most likely everything's going to be in a good state. Okay, everything's going to be green. We have the right resources, we have the right financials, all the budgets are entered in, items are entered in, meetings are scheduled, everything is set. So all I'm doing here is just going in and putting in this basic information. Everything is green for this project. There's no issues. Everything is set. There's no risk, nothing like that. So I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to pause it here for a second. And you can see under the resource column, the schedule column, the finance column, the risk column, all of them show green, okay? Because I showed that everything is good with this project. So the overall here on the left, next to the column author, is green. So this project is in a good state, okay? Initial assessment says, hey, we're good. And you can add additional assessments as you move along. You can add issues. So if there's a problem that comes up, okay, as you go along in the project, you can add an issue. An issue is just like a problem that occurs, okay? You also can do your financials here. So again, I talked about budget. So this is where you can set up your budget. You can set it up on a monthly, quarterly, or weekly phase. And this budget is for your project, really. So here I've just gone in and created a quick budget. And now I'm going to add a cost item, okay, to that budget. And you can see it's either an expense cost item or an investment cost item. And I'll expand it here so you can see. So I'm going to say, I'm going to look for probably, I'm going to say compensation and benefits. Yep. So I'm going to select compensation and benefits. I'm going to say submit. That's going to add that line item there under it, the sub-level. And I'm going to add another cost item. And this one's going to be an investment. So you'll see I'll click on that. But we could add another expense item maybe. Maybe we'll add in supplies and tooling or rents and leases. Yep. So we'll add in some supplies and tooling, maybe some advertising as well. Throw that in. So that's all going to come under expense. Okay, so these are things against the project. This is our budget. We're also going to have an investment. So we're going to have plant and equipment. Okay, so we're going to select that and say submit. So now we've got all our budgeted items for the project. Okay, so we're going to go in, click on that little edit icon, and you can see for week 34, 35, 36, 37, and so on and so forth, right? That's all there. Everything right now has a $0 budget. So you can go in, just overwrite it. Okay, so that's your budget, $1,500 for that week, and so on and so forth. We're just going to create our budget now. Okay, that's how much we're budgeted to spend on a weekly basis for compensation and benefits. Okay, and I'll show you how to lock that budget and how someone can report against that. So I'm going to go in, I'm just going to make all these edits here. And please, I know this is fast, so please make sure you have your list of questions. We can go through that in a little bit here, and you guys can ask any kind of questions. If you're not sure on something, you want to know capabilities, anything like that, I'm here as a resource to help you guys and to educate you on the tool. So once all these budgets are entered in, you have the ability to lock them. Okay, so that means that now that budget is set. You cannot change it. You cannot do anything to it. All you can do to that budget now is track against it. Okay, so that'll be actuals. That's your actual transactions then. And I believe we'll get into that. Okay, so I created the budget. That's all set. Now I'm going to go into benefits. And again, I told you we could create benefits. So what are the benefits of this project? Are there any benefits to it? So I have my spending budget, but what about the benefits? What are we getting out of this project? Okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to say that there's going to be a growth. And I'm going to say incremental orders. So we're going to get more orders. So if we are able to fulfill this project and everything goes really well, we're going to expect incremental orders. So we're going to expect more orders coming into the system. So at this point, I'm done. I entered in my benefit. Okay, this is not being shared with anyone. These financials, okay, this is the financial section. I'm going to go in and share that with Keith. So now Keith has the ability to go into the financials and edit them, okay, before they get locked. That's all I'm saying by doing that. Otherwise, no one can touch it. So here's that freeze budget, okay? You do have the option now to freeze the budget. Are you sure you want to freeze it? Yes, I'm sure. So now the budget is frozen. You can do nothing with it, okay? It's set. That budget is now set. Now, all you can do is go to the actual transactions section and start entering them in, okay? And that'll track against your budget. Let's see if this works here. I know I was having issues getting these in because I have a lot of different environments, but this is how you do it really. I'm going to just pause it here for a second. So you can enter in your transaction ID, what date the transaction took place, what's the description of it, what's your cost item. So what are we going against? Are we in the budget? Are we going against compensation and benefits? Yes. What was the purchase order number, if applicable? Don't have to enter it in. And how much? Okay, how much was it? I'm going to put in $1,800. I'm going to save it. Done. Move on. Okay, so now we've created the budget, we've done all that for the project. You can see the schedule here. We'll go back to the schedule here for a second so you can see where we're at. Again, everything is still in a draft state. Okay, now the main thing we need to do is add people to the project. Nobody's added the project. So we go to the People's tab on the left and let's add some people to the project. Okay, everyone here right now, if you click on the edit icon, sorry, the video is going pretty fast. So we click on that edit icon. And now we added these 3 individuals here to the project. Okay, so now they have access to the project and everything in there. The key is that they are all given reader access, only a reader access. I don't want them to be a reader. I need them to do work in this project. I don't want them just to be able to see the data. I want them to be able to contribute to the data, add the data. Okay, so I'm going to go in, you click on that edit icon, and you're going to change them all to a leader. Okay, a leader has the ability to change. Okay, I'm going to keep Azim as a reader, but everyone else is going to be a leader in this case. I'm going to disable the edit. That's all good to go. Now you go to your resource plan. Okay, again, remember I talked about resources. So this is where you can select what skill do I need for this project. Okay, you can see I'll click on this right here. I'll click on that little icon for business skill, and here's the skills. Okay, you're going to select in your company. Go, and there's your person, your preferred person that you're going to select. Everything is here. Okay, when's the start date and the end date? Okay, and let me go back here for a second. Right here is a number of full-time employees. So FTE means full-time employees. How many full-time employees am I requesting here? I'm requesting 1, and I'm requesting this person right here, which is me. Okay, that's me. And I'm going to say that my standard cost per hour is $300 an hour. Okay, so in order to have me on the project, it's going to bill against at $300 an hour. I'm going to say okay. It's going to create that resource request. Okay, you can see REQ for request. Click on that. Click on submit. That request is ready to go. Let's submit it. I'm going to say please allow us to use Ritesh for the project. Spell my name right there. Say done, and now that request has been submitted. So the owner of the project can now go into that by clicking on resource pools here on the left. I'm the owner of the project, and you can see it's going so fast here. So click on company name here because it's saying, hey, company name has an open request here that you need to approve. You can see the 1. So I'm going to click on company name here. It's going to open up the resource request. Here's some that have already been fulfilled. Okay, these have been fulfilled. You can see the state is completed on each three, the bottom three. The first one is the one I need, so I'm going to click on it, click the thumbs up. It's been approved now. Okay, I approved that resource request. So if I go back to the projects tab, click on the sample project for training, click on people. That's in there now. Okay, so and here's the member timesheets, by the way. So now I want to go in and I want to report my time against the project. Click on that tab, go to timesheets, and then click on this icon right here. It's going fast, sorry. Go back here. Okay, so right here, when you say create a timesheet, you're going to select your week. What week do you want to select the timesheet for? Okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to say the week of the 24th, say okay. And you can see now and I created a bunch more in the background. So all these timesheets have been created. Well, I want to open up the May 3rd to the May 21st, May 21st to the 27th. I open that one up. Okay, let's go back here. Right here. Okay, when I click on it here at the top, it'll bring it up here on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to click on that. It's going to open up the timesheet. Okay, so what did you do during that week? Okay, these are all the available tasks that had to be completed. They were assigned to me. Okay, so I'm going to click on, hey, I did the kickoff meeting. Okay, we'll wait for that to get clicked down here. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so we can't schedule that yet because here, let me show you, let me explain. So right now, nothing can be done with the project. You can't put any time against the project. Nothing can happen. Main reason, you see all these states right here. They're all in a draft state. That means the project hasn't even begun yet. So if the project hasn't begun, how can I record time against it, right? So I'm just going in right now, selecting all of these tasks. You don't have to do all of them. You can just do a couple of them. So I'm going to select the task that I want. I'm going to click on the edit icon. I'm going to change from draft to do. Okay, so now these two tasks have started. So we've created the tasks. We're going to go in. I'm going to disable the edit icon here in a second. So we go in. Okay, we go into this task. And you can see the assignees, okay? There's no one assigned here. Nobody's assigned, just me, okay? Collaboration, again, you can put decisions, discussions, meetings, everything there. So there's so many options here on the left side you can see. That's the reason I kind of came into the screen. It's just to show you the options that you have available to you, okay? You can create risks, you can share it, you can create issues, you can do a lot from this screen on its own. There's a resolve by section as well. So if you resolve that task with something, you can do that there. So let's go back now to the timesheets. Okay, so now we've created that task. We started it. I'm going to go back to the May 21st timesheet, open that one up, click on the tasks icon, and now that project kickoff is available for me. I'm going to click on that, say submit. Okay, and you can see now that's all available. Click on the edit icon. I'm going to say that on Tuesday, I worked for 1 hour on the project kickoff. I'm going to say save and disable the edit icon. And then I'm going to say submit. Okay, I'm going to click on the boxes here at the bottom. Okay, so it's just saying, are you ready to submit? Yes, I am. So that timesheet submitted. I'm saying, hey, I'm submitting my timesheet for the week. I don't have any other time. And you can see now the in approved section is showing that timesheet. You click on yes, it creates it. Okay, I'm going to say, yes, I've approved this timesheet. Say done. And now that is marked. Okay, so that time has been recorded against the project and against the budget. So now when I go back to the project summary report tab, you can see everything. You can see a lot more here, okay? You can see what's going on with all the projects. This is the sample one that we have, right? You can see all the pending tasks for that one. Everything is all seeable. So we're going to go to sample project for training again, go back into that. You can see all the deliverables, pending issues, assessments, efforts, all the analytics are here for you. Lots of different analytics. I mean, it's a pretty cool feature. I'm almost done here, Jordan. Okay, so I'm going to go back into projects. I'm going to find that project, and you can see what's been completed, what's pending, what's overdue. Everything is showing. Here's your schedule again. And you're going to see this is in work. 12.5% of it has been completed. Go back into that task. I'm going to promote that task and say, hey, that kickoff meeting is now completed. Okay, we completed it. We're done with it. I don't need to do anything else here. Go back to your main schedule and you're going to see there it is. It's completed, 100% done. So I put in my 1 hour that was budgeted. I completed it. I recorded against it. Here's your Gantt chart view of it now as well. You can see right there, project kickoff, 100% completed, and then so on and so forth as you go on. Right back to the main level. Okay? Here's all your tasks. So there's a little bit more color to it now that I've done something in the project. And then you can see your Gantt chart view here at the bottom.